In 1684, Venerable Ignacio del Espiritu Santo founded the first Filipina religious congregation in the Philippines, the Congregation of the Religious of the Virgin Mary, the oldest and the largest Catholic religion. The aim of the congregation was towards personal sanctification and perfection by offering education to the youth in order for them to become youth who had knowledge about parishes. In addition, the congregation also offered spiritual retreats for laywomen, running in the dormitories, and caring for the sick people in hospitals. The Religious of the Virgin Mary established the institution of St. Mary's Colleges and bestowed the teachings to fellow Filipinos along with the aim to live like Mother Ignacia in following the footsteps of our beloved Blessed Virgin Mary.
Our first task in approaching other people, another culture, another religion, is to take off our shoes, for the place we are approaching is holy, else we may find ourselves treading on another's dream. More serious still, we may forget that God was there before our arrival.
Venerable Ignacio del Espiritu Santo was from Binondo, Manila. It is plausible that she was born on February 1 on the feast of Saint Ignatius of Antioch. She was the only surviving child of Josepe Iyoko, a Chinese immigrant from Amoy, China, and Maria Hernoma, a native India. On March 4, 1663, at her baptism, she was given the name Ignacia del Espiritu Santo. She followed the leadership of others in the community of Dominican. By following God's will, she was brought to the direction of Jesuit Paul Klein, who had recently arrived in Manila from Bohemia in 1683. At the age of 21, she was expected by her parents to be betrothed. Mother Ignacia was faced with the choice of answering the calling that beckoned her to remain devout to God, but the thought of disappointing her parents conflicted with her. She sought advice from Father Paul Klein and was advised to take a 30-day Ignatian retreat. In the end, she made the choice to remain devoted to God. She left home with only a needle and a pair of scissors, symbolizing her decision to live by labor on her own. In 1685, the community of Beatas was formed.
Mother Ignatia, teach us to be always faithful to the love that Jesus shows us as He showed to you. Touched by His blood.
Established in 1685 through the conjoined mission of several native women under the guidance of Mother Ignacia to serve God. Despite starting as a group of Indians who built their community behind the Jesuit institutions in Intramuros, in the span of 41 years, the Beaterio de la Compañía would flourish. Inspired by the founder's sense of spirituality and inspired by the moral values that emulated the sufferings of Christ, and the love and maternal care of the Blessed Virgin Mary, this spirituality sustained the Beatas in their moments of difficulties, especially during the times of extreme poverty, summa pobreza, as the Beatas continued to live by the sweat of their brows. Furthermore, they were often referred to as Beatas, which developed to Sor or Madre. The Beaterio became a center for spiritual enlightenment of Indias, mestizas, and even Spanish women of nobility at the time, when women were denied education, political power, and the chance to be equal to men. During the war revolutions and suppression brought about by a patriarchal society, the Beaterio as a religious community progressed to the present as the Congregation of the Religious Virgin Mary. This was the first Filipino community for women religious in the Philippines, The house of retreat is where Beatas lived. They offer days of recollection and retreats for women.
Touched by his boundless love, you chose to give your land. Teach us to serve without ceasing, that our lives may be pleasing.
In 1684, the Venerable Ignacio del Espiritu Santo founded the first Filipina religious congregation in the Philippines, the Congregation of the Religious of the Virgin Mary, the oldest and largest Catholic religion. The aim of the congregation was towards personal sanctification and perfection by offering education to the youth in order for them to become a youth who had knowledge about parishes. It is the oldest and largest Filipina Catholic religious congregation and was the first all-Filipina religious congregation for women in the Philippines. This congregation has mixed life to aim for personal sanctification and perfection, mainly through offering Catholic like offering to youth education and catechetical instruction in parishes. In the spirit of Mother Ignatia, the Beatas lived by the sweat of their faces and preserved in their service of God through education and retreat work. The growth of the Beaterio into a congregation and its response to the apostolic challenges of the times show the vitality of the spirit of Mother Ignatia.
To Jesus crucified, who for our love has died. Love is gracious King, your steadfast love has glorified.
In 1726, Beaterio de la Compañía became eligible to apply for official recognition from church authorities, and later on in the year of 1732, the Beaterio obtained a certification from the Archdiocesan Administrator. Moreover, the rules were approved along with the court orders that were immediately observed. When Mother Ignacia came of age at 69, Archbishop of Manila Juan Angel Rodriguez, OSST, approved the policies and rules of the community. Mother Ignacia later resigned from her leadership role in 1732.
During the Spanish era, in the year of 1748, they established a school for 45 girls that comprised Filipinas, Spaniards, and mestizas, teaching lessons in Christian living along with training in reading, sewing, and embroidery. In July 1748, the Archbishop of Manila Pedro de la Santísima Trinidad Martinez de Arizala, OFM, formally petitioned King Ferdinand VI of Spain for protection civil for the congregation, and at worst luck, on September 10, 1748, at the age of 85, Mother Ignacia died.
On November 25, 1755, the king granted the congregation civil protection. Furthermore, in groups of two or more, as circumstances permitted, the Beatas assisted the Jesuit fathers in their work to provinces in Luzon, renewing the faith of those who cast aside the sacraments by conducting spiritual retreats in 1748 to 1770. They saw the inauguration of the first missions in the largely Muslim Mindanao from 1872 to 1900.
In the account from the Misión de la Compañía de Jesus by the P. Pablo Castells, S.J., the Beatas were referred to for the first time as sisters when they set sail for Tamontaka in Cotabato in 1874. Some Muslims in 1874 were hostile to the nuns and burnt the mission orphanage, with one of the sisters mortally wounded when an assailant ran amok. In spite of the dangers, the sisters established themselves in other Jesuit mission towns. The Dapitan mission opened in 1880, and in the following year of 1892, the Polag mission started, Zamboanga and Surigao mission in 1894, and 1896 for the Libungan and Butuan mission.
When peace was retrieved after the Philippine Revolution of 1896 and the Spanish-American War caused deprivations for the sisters in Mindanao, wherein the congregation cared for the wounded in hospitals, they opened new schools in Luzon and Visayas. During the American regime on June 21, 1902, the Apostolic Administrator of the Archdiocese of Manila, Most Reverend Martin Garcia Alocher, approved the congregation's petition to convene members from the different mission stations for the purpose of electing a Mother General. And in the same year, Mother Maria Efigenia Alvarez of Ermita, Manila, was elected the first Mother General in a general chapter.
However, on March 17, 1907, Pope Pius X promulgated the Decree of Praise in favor of the congregation's rules and constitutions. March 24, 1931, the Decree of Approbation was granted by Pope Pius XI. This decree elevated the congregation to pontifical status. Under the guidance of Mother General Iphigenia in 1902, she encouraged the sisters to pursue higher education at the University of Santo Tomas in Manila in preparation for better teaching. 10 lasting houses, schools, and dormitories were founded.
Mother Iphigenia, at the age of 80 and 5 times elected to office, received permission to resign in the year of 1938. July 10, 1938, Reverend Mother Maria Andrea Montejo was appointed by the Holy See to succeed her in governing the 26 houses the congregation had throughout the country. With support from local church authorities, the congregation received leave from the Holy See to transfer its novitiate from Parañaque, Rizal, now Parañaque City, to its present site at Quezon City on October 1, 1939. For the summary, Mother Maria Efigenia Alvarez of Ermita, Manila was elected the first Mother General in a general chapter in 1902. In 1931, Pope Pius XI elevated the congregation to pontifical status. Reverend Mother Maria Andrea Montejo was appointed by the Holy See to succeed her in 1930.
And lastly, as a summarization of post-independence of Rvm institution, Pope Pius XII issued the decree of definitive pontifical approbation of the constitutions, placing the congregation directly under Rome. The congregation numbered 483 professed sisters, 40 novices, and 9 postulants in 1963. In 2016, there were more than 700 RVM sisters worldwide, where they ran 58 schools, including one in Islamabad, Pakistan, and 4 in Ghana, West Africa. While involved mostly in education, they also had 7 retreat houses, 13 dormitories, and outreach at times of catastrophes and to those in dire need. The sisters were also involved in an array of special ministries and services to dioceses, campus ministries, hospitals, and others.
Mother Ignatia, hear us as we raise our hearts with joy. Jesus with glorious glory, joy to His glorious body.
Mother Ignatia becoming Venerable Ignacia del Espiritu Santo. In 2007, the foundress, Mother Ignacia del Espiritu Santo, was proclaimed venerable because of her spiritual virtues of confidence, hope, and reverence for God and neighbor.
The very first mother house at Intramuros, along with the 9 other houses, which existed during the foundation of the congregation in the year 1684, was destroyed during the liberation in 1945. The mother house originally stands on Spanish Street, Manila, during and after the war. The mother house's successor was transferred to Quezon City in 1950 on a 5-hectare compound beside the Chapel of Our Lady of Assumption, which was inaugurated and blessed in 1950. The sisters would visit and stay at the mother house for togetherness and for their 8-day annual retreat.
Moving on from the timeline, the official seal of the congregation is characteristically Marian, drawn from the image of the woman of the Apocalypse. The woman of the Apocalypse is widely identified as the Virgin Mary, figure described in chapter 12 of the book of Revelation, written circa Anno Domini 95. Described in the monogram, it comes with the initials A and M written in the middle representing the words Auspis Maria, which means under the guidance of Mary, also Ave Maria. In addition, the ray surrounding the monogram represents her far-reaching zeal and charity. Moreover, the 12 stars reflect the 12 privileges of Mary. Rays emanate from the starry monogram in 7 groups, representing the graces that come from Jesus through Mary, signifying the congregation's motto, through Jesus, through Mary.
Under the monogram is an open book bearing the Latin inscription Ad Jesum cum Maria, which translates to Jesus with Mary. Immediately below the open book is the angular facade of the original pre-war Beaterio in Intramuros. Below the Beaterio is a spring of Sampaguita, which has been the national flower of the Philippines since 1934. It stands for the Filipina origin and character of the congregation, as well as its mission of serving country and compatriots overseas.
Mother Ignatia, teach us to be always faithful to the love that Jesus shows us as He showed to you.
Truly, the RVM has come far from its roots. What began as a journey of one native India and her mission to continue serving the Lord as his devoted follower inspired her fellow natives to do the same. And here we are today in the present, wherein the Ignatian Marian community, under the guidance of RVM, has come together full circle. After the countless trials and tribulations the RVM and its members have faced in the past, they have achieved the mission of their late foundress to educate the youth to become beacons of hope, helping them to become globally competent professionals, attesting to congregations' growth.
And one thing that has an implication to the whole community is their camaraderie. So what's with their camaraderie? Because we Filipinos are hospitable and we love to have these so-called bonds. So our just like in our family, our friends. So we make friends. We make friends. And because of these events, it helps us to grow as a person, to mingle, and in Tagalog, makibagay. We learn how to be on ourselves, and we learn also how to care for our fellow Ignatian Marians.
The Ignatian Marian bonding and the Siglaro are two of the most notable events that takes place within the community. A way for all members in the Philippines, from Ignatian Marian leaders to athletes, to be united in developing and nurturing each Marian's skills and morale, strengthening the bond that holds the foundation that was lifted by Venerable Ignacia del Espiritu Santo.
So, an Ignatian Marian bonding, so from the title itself, bonding. So, the goal of this event, this project, is to call all Ignatian Marian leaders to gather as one for a day of enjoyment, for a day of getting to know each other, and to make friends. In Siglaro naman, so from the title of the activity, Siglaro. So, sigla and laro. It was combined contraction of sigla and laro, siglaro. So what is the purpose of siglaro? The main aim of siglaro is just like the Ignatian Marian bonding, to have connection and establish rapport with fellow Ignatian Marians.
The religious of Virgin Mary continues to progress as time changes, with a new generation of Marians on their way to learn and be part of the newfound family and taking the path paved by their predecessors, by the Rvm sisters who dedicated their life's work in service to them and to the world.
Just like the RVM community, the RVM congregation, they continue to grow. Because as long as the Lord is calling our women to embrace a religious life, then the RVM congregation will still continue its mission. And as long as they respond to the call of God, the mission towards their end goal will continue. No, it is similar to the church. The journey of the church towards eternity doesn't end.
Embracing, exhibiting, and empowering the community through the core values of Venerable Ignacia del Espiritu Santo to preserve and let her legacy of faith and devotion live on for years to come.